What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So I know I said in the last thrift video that was going to be my last video for January, but I lied. I completely forgot I didn't do a top finds video for the year. I did do a couple over on TikTok, so if you guys do want to go follow me on that, you guys can. Been trying to do more over there to get that to grow a little bit, even though they say they're going to shut it down like every other month. So if you guys are not following me over there, go do that. I'd appreciate it. Now with all the yapping out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the finds. Starting off at number 10, this one, well, I should say these two. I would put them up closer to the top of the list personally, but they're the only two things I ended up keeping for myself on this whole list, which is why I put them together. And they both go together. They're the same game franchise. And if you guys watch the videos, then you know it's my favorite game franchise of all time. So we'll start off with this one right here. It is the sealed copy of Persona 3, which is actually my favorite video game of all time. And it is the collector's edition, the one with like the art book and everything. So I can't even lie to you guys, I did pay up on this. I paid $130 for it. It's probably worth about like $150 to $200 if I had to put a price on it. But it being my favorite game of all time, definitely had to scoop it up, even if I did have to pay up a little bit for it. Another reason why this one's so high up on the list. But the next one's actually worth more, and I got it for way cheaper, and that is a copy of Persona 2 on the PS1. So when I found this game, it was in one of those like disc things where people put all their loose discs at. For whatever reason, the person took all the discs out and the manuals and put them in one of those. The vendors were selling them for $5 a piece, so I guess you can look at it as I paid $10 because it is a 2-disc game. But it also came with the manual, like I was saying, and then both discs. If you guys are not aware, this is like a $300 to $350 game if it had the case and everything. Loose with the manual like this, it's probably more around like $200 if I had to put a price on it. But to get it for only $10, definitely happy with that. Honestly, don't know if I'm ever gonna play this one. I have tried to play it before on the PSP and I just couldn't get into it. But for what I got it for, definitely happy to have it in the collection. So that's number 10 on the list, these two Persona games that I got this year. Coming in at number 9, so this one is actually a big lot of stuff that I got over 2 weeks time. Bought a bunch one week, went back the next week, and she had a bunch more. There was like Mighty Ducks, old Dallas Mavericks, a bunch of stuff you guys saw. But the one that stood out the most and definitely my favorite piece of everything was the vintage starter Oilers jacket. So everything I got from her, I ended up paying like $10 to $15 a piece on. I think the t-shirts were 10, the crew necks were 15. This one was 20, but I didn't mind paying that because it was brand new with the tags. So I paid 20 bucks for it. I was kind of expecting to get closer to like 180 to 200 for it, but I ended up selling it for 140. I had it for a really long time, and then I ended up running like a coupon campaign thing on eBay, and someone ended up buying it for 140. So that's why this one's kind of lower on the list as well. Coming in at number 8, we got the pair of Kobe 4s in MPLS colorway that I ended up finding. Ended up scooping those up for $25, and I got them with a pair of like Reebok pumps. Those actually sold pretty decent as well, but I ended up selling the Kobe 4s for $268. So basically a $240 profit, which definitely happy with. Then jumping into number 7, we have the Canada Goose jacket that I ended up finding. It was an older Canada Goose, I want to say like early 2000s if I remember right. Paid 40 bucks for that one. Also got a Supreme jacket from the vendor too, but I didn't get the footage of it because my GoPro died. That's when I was having GoPro problems. But I actually sold that jacket for $220, so that would have been on the list too, but I didn't have footage for it. The Canada Goose one I did end up selling for $315. Did have it priced higher, but I was sitting on it for a long time and I got the offer, so I was like, whatever, I'll go ahead and take it. Moving into number 6, we have an Ariel figure from Little Mermaid that I ended up grabbing. So the lady that I got this from, she had bought like a storage unit that was full of these Disney figures. I bought a couple other ones, but this was probably one of the more pricier ones that I sold. I am still sitting on one, probably the most expensive one, but I didn't put it on this list because I haven't sold it yet. But it's a real big Ariel statue that's like this big, and that one people are asking like $1,000 to $1,500 on. But like I said, I didn't put it on the list because I haven't sold it yet. But this one I did sell, and this was one of the first ones I got from her where she was kind of selling everything on the lower end. So I did pay $15 for it, and I ended up selling it for $225. Some Disney collectors are just crazy. And then speaking of Disney collectors, we're gonna go to Looney Tunes, but specifically Marvin the Martian. So in my experience, Looney Tunes stuff is kind of like whatever, unless it's Marvin the Martian. I ended up picking up this little tiny figure. It was probably maybe like 5 inches, 6 inches. That was another one that I got for $15 just because I guess the people didn't really care for it since it was so tiny. It was still in the box and everything, and I ended up selling it on eBay for $255. Marvin the Martian stuff can be kind of expensive. That is what I learned over the last year. I actually just picked up another one this last weekend at the flea market. Again, I paid $15 for it, and I have it on eBay for $200, and it already has a couple watchers. So if you guys ever see any Marvin the Martian little figure, definitely look into them. Moving into number 4, we got a pair of KD12s in the Inspire colorway. So these I ended up paying $55 for. The guy was asking $60, offered him $50, and he said no. So I went and walked around a little bit, and then I was kind of looking into them more, so I went back and got them because I noticed some of the pairs online were selling for some crazy prices. These ones were pretty big and they were pre-owned, but I did end up selling them for $305. We ended up agreeing on 55 bucks. I guess nobody else was interested in them because of the size, so he came down $5 for me, I guess. Moving into number 3, this one I actually forgot about when I did the TikTok thing. I completely forgot to put this one on the list, but it's actually this Playboy varsity jacket that I found. It was a vintage one. I ended up paying $40 for it. I kind of figured it was going to be worth a little bit, but I didn't realize that it was going to sell for $360. I was really surprised on that one, I'm not even gonna lie. When I originally bought it, I was thinking I was gonna get more, maybe like $100, but then I started doing more research into it when I got home and realized it was worth way more than that, and it sold pretty quick. So quick $320 profit, I'll take that any day. Then coming in at number 2, we have the leather Mavs Pro Player jacket that I ended up finding. This one came from a vendor that's there every weekend. He just kind of throws his stuff all over the floor and everybody like fights over it. I don't know how we ended up getting the jacket, but we did. My friend actually ended up pulling it out of the pile of clothes, and then he said I could take it if I wanted it. I think it was one of those days where he found a bunch of stuff and I hadn't really found nothing yet, so that's why he let me take it. But I ended up paying $30 for that jacket, and it ended up selling for $300. I even had it for sale locally for $200, and I even was gonna let it go for $150, and nobody ended up taking it, but their loss, I guess. And then coming in at number 1 is some Pokemon plushes. Crazy to think, right? Like, I sold some jackets for like over $300 and some Pokemon plushes beat it out. Well, these ones specifically were some Pokemon Center exclusive Pokédoll ones. One was a Blaziken and one was a Sceptile. So originally, I was just gonna buy the Sceptile because I said it in the video, that's like my favorite grass starter. So I was just gonna take the Sceptile, but then I started looking more into them and I noticed that they had some crazy value to them. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the Blaziken and the Sceptile. And then I was like, I'm gonna wait and see if the Swampert comes out because it would be cool to have all 3 of them. If I had all 3 of them, I probably would still have them, to be honest. I just didn't like having only 2, and I knew I was never gonna find the Swampert. But anyway, ended up selling the Sceptile for $280. And the only reason why I went that low is because he was missing one of the balls on his back, or else I would have got more for it. But the Blaziken actually ended up selling for $400, and then that one would have went a little bit higher as well, but he was kind of beat up. And I only paid $5 a piece on them. So to spend $10 and sell them for $680 for some little Pokemon plushes is crazy to me. But I guess just like with any kind of collectible, people are willing to pay up for the right thing. So those are my top 10 flea market finds for this year, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button and drop comments. Let me know if you guys want to see a thrift one. I'll do a thrift one as well if you guys want it. And with 2024 being out of the way, hopefully 2025 brings more amazing finds as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys soon with another one. Later.